Thought I'd stand in a different location while I explain the problem. I don't know if you've ever really got a good look at the bridge before. I built this bridge so we could walk easily to the truck and to the porch. I really like that bridge for some reason. I've been explaining to you our process to get through the -0 temperatures, below negative zeros and all that. It's our winter mode is what I've been calling it. It takes a little bit of extra effort, but not much. So I'm going to explain it again real quick. I know a lot of folks are going to say, hey, you've talked about this quite a bit, but apparently people aren't listening. I'm going to explain. This is more of a rant video than anything. I am trying to teach folks how to live their dreams. And one thing that I always get is, oh no, you got to spend $1 billion for a $0 problem or a imagined problem. There is no problem. Let's spend some money. That is the solution to everything. And as you know, I've talked about being debt-free and having a little savings account. So if your house burns down, you're self-insured because they won't insure you because you have a wood stove. I've talked endlessly about these things. And it is obvious that folks don't listen. And they're so busy thumping their chest, talking about how smart and great they are, they don't even realize what they're spewing out is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So as you know, we have a 275-gallon IBC tank in here. Right now I got some foam on top of it to help keep it insulated. I could actually take this off. It's 41 degrees today. After we've been down to -6, there is a time of the year where we can't use the IBC tank. I want to be very careful how I say this because I don't want any misinterpretations. When it gets below -6 degrees, the RV pump and the plumbing going into the house can freeze up. No matter how you do it, it's going to freeze. Somebody says, oh, you need PEX tubing. Well, genius, PEX tubing does freeze. It actually, I looked it up, can freeze about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's susceptible to rodents eating it, so I don't want that. And it apparently actually has chemicals in it that people don't want to drink. So no, thanks anyways. I'm happy with what we got. So like I said, the hose and the plumbing can freeze up. The RV pump can freeze up. So the solution has been to this non-issue is disconnect the RV pump from the IBC tank and from the hose, let everything drain out. That way when it freezes, nothing freezes. As soon as temperatures get back to above -6, we can hook it all back up again. I want to be clear about this. This does not mean we are out of water. During the 2 weeks that we've been in these sub-zero temperatures, I think it's been about 10 days, close to 2 weeks, we have not missed a shower. We have not missed a dish that needed wash. We have not missed a load of laundry. We've gotten everything that we needed with the water. How did we do this? You can't do it. Your IBC tank's froze up. Well, first of all, that's not true. The IBC tank has never froze. It gets a little coating of ice in there sometimes. The RV pump can freeze. Everybody seems to have a solution to this problem. And so the other day I made a video where I talked about there is no problem. I said it 3 times in the video. I said it actually pretty early in the video. I don't have a problem. I said it outside on the other side of the house here. And then I said it 2 times while I was inside the house explaining how the system works. There is no problem. We just switch into winter mode. So winter mode is, we come over here to the well and we run these hoses into the water heater in the house. Now I've explained this in detail in other videos. The RV pump runs into a hose just like that, or the well runs into a hose, that hose actually. I can either run the water heater off the well or off the IBC tank RV pump. The only reason I don't normally run everything off the well at nighttime, if for some reason we decided we wanted to take a shower in the middle of the night, which we don't, I couldn't run this. I would have to come out, start the generator. So for convenience sakes, we run the RV pump. It takes less electricity. This one would take too much electricity to run it off the battery. That's it. That's the only reason we have the RV pump. On sunny days, it's easier to run this off solar panels. On cloudy days, I can run it off this generator, or I can run it off the smaller generator, the different setup. But there is no exclusions to being able to run this. I could get rid of the IBC tank. And I almost feel like I should get rid of the IBC tank just to prove to you folks that we don't need it. It is not a necessity. It is not a problem. It is just a little bit of convenience that we can have water at night or on cloudy days easily without having to come out and start the generator. Or one person suggested that we run a switch inside the house, which we could do that. That way we could just turn on the pump, the well pump anytime we wanted, just like we can turn on the RV pump anytime we wanted. Another downside is I got to run a different inverter. I say downside, and that's where people hear, oh, there's a problem. It is not a problem. We live off grid. This is just kind of the process. I said in that video, this is my primary water source. My well is my primary water source. The IBC tank is not my primary water source. And all you have to do is come up with one simple explanation as why it cannot be my primary water source. It can run out of water. It's 275 gallons. There's a limited amount of water in it. This won't run out of water. I know somebody's going to say, well, it could run out of water if we got to. You understand my point. That will run out of water. If I don't fill it back up, it will run out of water. This won't. So this has to be my primary water source. I'm not worried about the IBC tank. It was just an added convenience. Makes life a little bit easier. A little bit. But it's not something that is a problem. I said it 3 times in that video. Very frustrating. The thing about being on YouTube is everybody has a solution that costs money or more electric than what we can provide. The whole point to living here was to reduce our electric and so we could be off grid. And the first thing folks want me to do is figure out a way to make enough electricity or just get back on grid so I can run an RV pump. Well, if I'm on grid, why don't I just hook this thing up? I don't understand the thinking. I've explained every aspect. People tell me to do things that I've explained a million times. Anytime I make a video and I'm explaining how I do things, somebody will come up with a problem, an imagined problem, and then explain to me how I can spend money to fix it. I don't have any problems, 1, and 2, I'm not going to spend money to fix a problem that you imagine. I remember when we moved here, the grass was real tall, we were going to use a little push mower, and we were cleaning the place up, and we were just taking our time and having fun. And in one video, people had commented, a multitude of people had commented about how we could fix the problem, whatever problem they thought, oh, the grass is tall, so you got to go get a brush hog, or you got to move dirt, or there were just all kinds of solutions to these things that I wasn't even sure what. We started out cutting all the grass with a little swing blade thing. We went from a sling blade to we got to have a brush hog. You need to go buy a tractor. Well, you can rent them. Anyway, so I went on Google and I started pricing all the things that people told me I needed in that one video, and it came up to $10,000. So within 20 minutes, $10,000 had been suggested that I spend to cut grass. It's insane how people just want to spend money. All the while I'm making videos. Ever since we were nomads, save money and live your dreams. You don't have to spend money to live your dreams. If you're spending money, that is your dream. And you just cannot convince people that this is not the solution. So like I said the other day in a video I made, that we had some troll come in and he was telling me how I had to redo all my plumbing to make it right. Use PEX plumbing. And I guess a lot of people like this stuff, but from what I see, I won't use it. It sounds very unhealthy. And Carolyn said, well, once she looked at Google and saw the pictures, she said, I've seen this stuff before in a water heater, which would make sense because if homeowners are saying that it has chemicals in it and make you sick and taste bad, then you don't want it going to your kitchen sink where you're drinking water. Maybe your water heater, that's fine, but I have spent an enormous amount of time. If you think about it, I live here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We rarely leave. And I've set this place up in a fashion that works fantastic. We seldom have problems. I work very little. I have very little to do around here. I make YouTube videos. That's about the most stressful thing of my day. And then I got to deal with commenters in the YouTube section telling me how to spend money that I don't have because I'm making YouTube videos. Because I'm set. Everything's fine. So on a sunny day, I can run this well off the solar panels. We can take a shower. Or on a cloudy day, like I said, we can start the generator. I can run the well, take a shower, fill up buckets. Everything's fine. But no matter how many times you tell somebody, I don't have a problem, they want to tell you, you have a problem. So in a video where I said, I don't have a problem, marketplace. And I'm going to read this verbatim. I know you're not supposed to read things on YouTube, but this is hilarious. Hilarious in my mind. Marketplace, ... torpedo heater, used, in parentheses, ... problem solved. In a video where I said, I don't have a problem. I pick up on, supposed to be one, I pick up on from a garbage pile and repaired it, ... 8 years ago, ... still working just fine, ... Works great for vehicles, tractors to warm the engine oil and engine before you start it at 4 a.m. in the morning when it's 3 degrees Fahrenheit, ... First of all, I want to say it is highly unlikely that he's getting up at 4 a.m. to start his engines. I mean, think about it. He's ran this torpedo heater all night long and he's getting up at 4 a.m. He doesn't listen. So how did he hear the alarm going off at 3 in the morning so he could come outside at 4 in the morning to start his engines? He's a liar. But this is just chest thumping. That's all this is. I fixed me a torpedo heater. So I replied, you're the worst listener ever. I literally said 3 times there is no problem, and yet you tried to solve some imagined problem by buying fuel for a heater. I think you have a problem. We're in temperatures -6. That's when we can freeze up. And he wants me to run diesel or kerosene in a torpedo heater outside, just wasting heat to keep a tank usable, keep an RV pump usable. For what? I don't need it. How much money would this cost? I don't know how much a torpedo heater uses, but at $3 or $4 a gallon for diesel, I'm not interested. That's a lot of money. I don't even want to run the generator. And the generator uses 1/8 of a gallon every 8 to 10 hours. And I don't want to run it. To make his comment even worse, we have this little heater. I bought this as a Nomad. We ran it in the truck camper while we were traveling to keep the camper warm. We didn't want things freezing up. It's a 200 watt heater. It's not very big. And so I could run it off the inverter while we were traveling, and the truck would charge the battery, provided the energy through the alternator. It worked okay. It kept it above freezing in there at least most of the time. Well, this year, I disconnected the hose from the RV pump. I disconnected the RV pump from the tank. And then I came in here and I blew the hose out so there was no water in the hose. Well, there must have been some water in the hose that got hooked up, but I would go in there a few times a day. I'd blow into the hose to see if it was still free. For the first 3 days, there was no issues. Everything was fine. Like on the 3rd day though, I couldn't blow in it anymore. So what must have happened was there's some water in that hose. Now remember, I got ventilation running down into the tank and the hose runs in the tank. So that ventilation is insulated. So I run a fan and I push house temperature air into that ventilation and it keeps that hose from freezing up until we get down to -6. So when we got above freezing temperatures again, I don't even know if we got above freezing temperatures, maybe, I think it was like 17 degrees. That hose was still froze and I needed to get it thawed out so we could hook back up to the water. So I took this thing and it was a sunny day. I plugged it into the solar panels. I stuck it into the ventilation and within 10 minutes that the hose was thawed out. So here we have free heat that thawed out my pipe when I needed water. Took 10 minutes. I mean, I know that's terrible. Run $4 a gallon in diesel. That's much smarter. Or wait a minute, I'm having a problem with this word. Nope, still not work. Free. Yeah, this was free. I know that's really a big struggle for a lot of people. What? Free? No, 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 you got it wrong. You got to spend money. Got to spend $4 a gallon or something like that into diesel. I tell you, folks really need to stop thumping their chest. We have become such a narcissistic society that we have to interject some idea that makes the other person look stupid and that person smart. First of all, I do not ask for advice on this channel. It is a bad idea because then people will give you advice on how to spend your money. And for some reason, I don't like that. Now, I have always been raised to believe that you don't give people unsolicited advice. You do not tell people, oh, this is what you should do. Now, if I say, hey, do you have a suggestion? Then by all means, spill your guts. You come here to learn how to live off grid. So essentially, if you're coming here to learn how to live off grid, you're asking me for my opinion. Since you're coming here, it's implied that you're asking me for my opinion. When I needed information, I get on YouTube and I look for a specific topic. Okay, he gave me the advice I was looking for. So if you'll click this up next box, take that video where I was showing you the video in question. So if I can inspire you to find free so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.